On this episode of the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino, we give you the latest portal updates for Oklahoma football. We recap the Thunder sweep of the Pelicans, and we give you our winners and losers of the week. Please download and subscribe to the podcast, rate it 5 stars, and write us a good review. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search Oklahoma Breakdown on any of those, and you'll find us. All right, our man Michael Hosty will kick this thing off. It's time for the Oklahoma Breakdown. It's a beautiful Wednesday, May 1st, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there's so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful, award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack, match roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options in the month of May, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, simply the best. Now, recording this Tuesday night, got to catch a flight Wednesday morning. Shout out to the Oklahoma City Thunder for completing the sweep so I didn't have to rebook my flight, Ted.
They pulled it off for you. That was big time.
That
Clutch.
was, we'll get to that in FGTB, but we will start like we always start with the OU football stuff. And Ted, really the only thing going on right now is the portal. Is
Yep.
it? I think it's the last day, guys have the ability to enter their name in the portal. I don't even know if that's a rule anymore.
Right.
I think it's still a rule.
Well, I think it's a rule, but didn't the NCAA or didn't the lawsuit basically say you can transfer whenever you want at any time?
Yeah, basically that I just look at it, I'm like, I think anyone can go in the portal at any
Right.
time, and if they sue, they'll win. But we do have some portal updates for OU football. And most importantly, let's start with the Damonic Williams situation. He took visits to Texas, did not commit to Texas. Took a visit to Missouri, did not commit to Missouri, and is currently on a visit at LSU. And unless I've missed something, has not committed to LSU. So him not committing to any of those places up to this point can only be viewed as a good thing for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
The staff is what I would describe it cautiously optimistic about the situation.
Yeah. Well, I know that they felt really good about it whenever he was here on his visit, and it sounds like he's had a real big interest in Oklahoma the whole time, and the fact that he's been going to these other places and taking those visits and hasn't walked out of there with a commitment, you got to feel like you're still at least in the fight to some degree. So we'll see. Announcement tomorrow, right?
Sometime,
Supposedly.
yeah, sometime in the next 24 to 48 hours. So we're either going to be real excited or we're going to be kind of sad. But it does sound like the line of communication between Damonic Williams and, his team, his camp, whatever you want to call it, and the staff as well as the collective, like, sounds like it's still flowing back and forth in a very positive way. So I continue to hear how much his mom loves Oklahoma and love their experience there. That never hurts. That's always a huge plus when mom is a big fan of the staff and the way that you treated them. So I don't know how big of a factor it is, but you offer his little brother, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. You do whatever you can to land a player like that. I don't know. You got to feel like at some point the kind of the hay's in the barn, and we're talking money, aren't we? Right? And is that going to be the deciding factor? Is Like whoever has the highest NIL package.
I feel like when you think about who's involved in this, OU, Texas, Missouri, and LSU, I think the NIL offers are all going to be pretty similar.
Yeah.
He's a really solid defensive tackle. He's not a starting quarterback. I don't think that now maybe one of the schools gets to a crazy number and they just say, hey, we got to take that offer. I think they're all going to be within the same ballpark of each other. And that's where who do you think is the biggest challenger to OU?
Missouri.
Because you think it's Missouri?
Well, I think that Texas has a lot to offer. They were just in a college football playoff. LSU has a lot to offer. Tons of draft picks, recent national championship, lot to offer. Same thing with Oklahoma, tons of success. Missouri to me is like you got LSU, Texas, and Oklahoma. And then you have Missouri, right? Why is Missouri even in the conversation? It's NIL. And I know they had a solid football team last year and credit to them for that, but like they I feel like they know where they stand with everyone else. And whenever that's the case, you got to go above and beyond with the NIL. And I think that that's probably what they'll do. And they got the deep pockets to do it.
It's an interesting way of looking at it because for whatever reason, and maybe it's because he's at LSU last, I think the biggest challenger is LSU.
Yeah. Well, that
And
could be.
it's got a lot to do. Remember, Bo Davis left Texas
Mm-hmm.
and now he's at LSU. He's got some recent firepower from last week with Byron Murphy going 16th overall. And what
Yeah.
Tavondre Swint went 38th to
Yeah. That's
Tennessee.
true.
And
And
then
LSU's got a big need for defensive tackles. Like they know it. And, you know,
Brian Kelly has publicly said, yes, we're going to go get a defensive tackle and we're going to
yeah.
do whatever necessary to get that tackle. Like he's been very open with it throughout the spring. And I know it was a different defensive staff, but they had an underwhelming defense last year and they had 3 defensive tackles get drafted. So you look at LSU, I think that they've got a pretty good argument as well, but it seems like OU has given about as good of a sales pitch as they can give to Damonic Williams. And to his credit, and to the people helping him make his decisions credit, they said exactly how they were going to go about this. He was going to visit all these places, then they would make a decision, and it seems like it's about to play out exactly how they laid it out that it would. So let's just hope that the final decision's Oklahoma, because that would be a massive, massive addition for this defense.
Yeah. It's a game changer. You add a player like him to an average defense. I don't know how much bang for your buck you end up getting, how much return you end up getting. He's not like he's not an edge guy that's just going to absolutely, run the hoop on everyone, just be all over the quarterback every snap. Not really his game. But you take what's already a really good defense and add him there, then it could be a total game changer to be like that kind of final piece of the puzzle for a defense like Oklahoma's.
I'm hopeful that Venables. I never am one of those people that's like, hey, show them the Clemson tape. Come on, show them the Clemson tape. But he did have a couple first round defensive tackles that you probably could show Dominic Williams and go, hey, this is what it would look like.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, you have to understand that, he's be going into his third year here, and that's, we're trying to get it going. They've got some young guys in, but you don't bring an entire roster of defensive linemen with you whenever you go to a new place. I mean, I'm sure Dominic Williams and his group's smart enough to understand that. It's like you don't snap your fingers and start pumping out defensive linemen left and right. You got to get the guys in and, you know, come be our first big time draft pick.
Gut feeling.
My
Well,
gut
that's
feeling
that was a long
is,
pause.
well, my gut feeling is it's about money. And if it's about money, we're not going to win it.
Mm.
Which is frustrating to me because, you know, I understand the road, like the dangers of going down that road. And like soon as you drop the big bag, like that's going to be what you have to do over and over and over. All I'm saying is like I don't care. If let's just say for numbers that everyone can easily understand, let's say the rate is you've offered $1 million and Missouri's offered 1.1 and Texas has offered 1.2 and now LSU is offered 1.3. And my point is it's funny money. You're not running a business. You're throwing money at this issue. So the way I think of it is, who cares? Like I understand, like you don't want to go down that road, but is the kid going to change the way you play defense and maybe be help be the difference in having a big time season? If so, do it. That's how I look at it.
We'll see what it happens, man. We should know in the near future. It would
What's your
be.
feeling?
We've got no clue. I I will say, I do think as a fan base, we're just a little used to losing these battles.
Yeah.
And it just kind of there's that is just kind of hovering over this situation. It's like hanging there like a dark cloud, like, man, we haven't won most of these. So I got no clue.
Well, how much do you feel like
I know this. Dominic Williams and his family and representatives asked for a number. And OU has said yes. And as far as I know, up to this point, there has not been an ask or of any type of increase from Dominic Williams and his people. That like they have not asked for more from OU. So I don't know if that's a good thing, if that's a bad thing. I don't know if that's irrelevant. I don't know.
yeah.
But they asked for a certain amount. OU's collective said, yep, we're good here. So my hope is that this is a football decision. And I don't think still, and I know NIL is a huge factor now. I still don't think there are many people out there that can out recruit Britt Venables when it comes to painting the picture of how you're going to fit into his defense.
I agree with that.
But I just don't know how much that matters anymore. I don't. I
Well,
don't know.
that's what I was going to ask you is how much does this resemble an NFL defensive lineman in free agency?
I think it's definitely more similar than what you and I went through as recruits. Like
Yeah. To me,
it's
that's what we're talking about here. I mean, and in NFL free agency, it's the number. I mean, there's a little
but
bit of
it's a
football
little
and fit, but
it's a little bit more complicated though than NFL free agency because you're you're getting to a number that's trying to get you to a big number.
mhm.
And that's where it's a little different. Like when you hit NFL free agency, if you're a really, really good player, like you're going to get a big number. And on the scale of defensive tackles, Dominic Williams is going to get a very, very big number for a college defensive tackle. But don't you have to factor in like who is going to get me to that huge number? That's how I would think of it. I don't you want the big number, but all of these schools are offering him a big number. It's who can get me first round money. And maybe they all can. I don't
He's
know.
going to be playing 1 year, right? I mean, we can agree on that. I mean,
You would assume that's the plan.
if you were in his shoes and you're playing a 1 year season, wouldn't you want to play the schedule that Oklahoma has? I mean, wouldn't that? And I guess Texas has a pretty good one too. But
That's the thing
Missouri's
is these
schedule's like super easy, and I don't know if that factors in at all. But I don't know. I'm just trying to say, like, if he's trying to go somewhere to get to that big number, well, you go play well against Tennessee, Alabama, LSU, Missouri, like all these teams, then you don't even have to worry about it.
pick Oklahoma and you'll get to play against all the rest of your choices, your rest of your options.
That's it. Which, we'll be playing against him. If he's not on our team, we'll be playing against him. That's the other thing that kind of sucks about it.
There is no doubt. So we'll see. Other portal news for the Sooners. Jasiah Wagoner entered the portal and is headed to Cal, which let's remind everyone, ACC school. Cal.
Yeah, right.
Just
Headed
crazy.
to the ACC.
Jasiah Wagoner headed
to the
to
Atlantic Coastal Conference.
ACC powerhouse Cal. That's so strange still. But, Ted, Jasiah Wagoner was a guy, you rewind to training camp last year, they're telling us this guy was going to be a factor. I mean, he was running with the first team and then started having that shoulder issue, and it felt like he could just never get right and kept him out of the lineup a lot. He saw some action later in the season. I know Jay Valai loved his mentality, loved how he played, loved his aggressiveness and physicality, but man, that corner room has gotten awfully competitive and awfully crowded. So it wasn't surprising seeing Jasiah Wagoner put his name into the portal.
Yeah, it's got competitive, it's gotten crowded, and it's gotten big. There's some bigger dudes in that room, and that's one of the things that you've heard Venables talking about a lot, especially looking forward to the transition to the SEC, is the size and the length in the secondary that you'll see in that conference. And, that's kind of where Oklahoma has to get. Not to say anything negative against him. He played way bigger than his size. But it's tough. It's tough to crack the lineup right now. But, I'm pretty confident that he'll probably walk into Cal, be a day one starter.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see the guys succeed.
Yep.
But I think Brent Venables wants big corners.
Mm-hmm.
And Wagoner, like you said, he certainly played bigger than he was. But I think that this staff, they're starting to put a premium on measurables. Now, first and foremost, you got to be a great football player. That's what Venables is looking for, football players. But you want corners that are 6 foot, 6'1" with long arms, could really run. And that's Jasiah Wagoner was just not, he wasn't 6'2" out there, and super rangy. I think he's gonna be a really good player, but I just think that they have really focused on getting larger in the
Mhm.
secondary.
Yep.
And you can see it reflected with some of these freshmen that are in early that are whether they're at corner or safety or cheetah, like you just see the type of length and athleticism they want in the back end of the defense.
Yeah. No, I agree. We'll see what he does though. He's a good player. That's part of the problem with the shoulders. He was so aggressive in the run and attacking downhill and going up and selling out, throwing his body around that, it took a toll on him, but I think he'll bounce back. But man, I hate to lose him, but I'm still really excited about what our corner room looks like right now.
Yeah. No, should be. I think they're going to play a lot of guys. I really do, but we'll see if a couple of guys in training camp or early in the season, kind of in those non-conference games, really separate themselves and become the main two guys out there on the field. But I just don't know. That's
Think,
going to be something that it's going to be like. It may just be a competition throughout the season, Ted.
yeah, and I think there's four guys that you got to really look at, and maybe I'm missing someone, but I think Kenai Walker, Des Malone, Gentry Williams, and Woody Washington are the four guys that you got to kind of look at. They really like Des Malone. Kenai Walker brings a lot of size out there. Now, I you can almost, since you got four guys like that, you can almost play them in different situations. Like you got your man corners, you got your big zone corners. So just curious to see how that rotation shakes out.
So when you think about portal departures for OU, really Jasiah Wagoner, Justin Harrington, and then of course it feels like the Caden Green situation feels like it was 2 years ago.
It does.
It
It
feels like it
really
was
does.
forever ago. That clearly
Feels
was
like it
the
was
biggest.
before last season somehow.
Yeah, but clearly the Caden Green loss was the most significant. But and I guess there's still time for guys to put their name in, but what do you think it says? I just feel like it reflects very positively on what Venables and this staff are doing that people aren't poaching their guys.
Yeah. No, I think that there's some value there that they're staying for, whether it's soul mission stuff or they've become really tight as a team. I don't know what it is exactly. And I know they're doing a good job, spreading the wealth around, so to speak, with the NIL stuff. I don't know exactly what the magic potion is, and it's probably a little bit of everything, but yeah, they've had some good luck because you can look at several different positions, corner, um, linebacker, edge, running back. Like there's some positions where you've got a lot of depth, and it's going to be very difficult to carve out reps. So they've had great success keeping those guys around. It's impressive.
I do think that Curtis Lofton and some of the guys that are working closely with the collective, within the rules, I think they've gotten that really, really organized. And I think that's been extremely helpful to kind of be transparent with guys when it comes to all the NIL stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think the guys on the team have enjoyed that transparency, and it just feels very professional from what I've been told by some of these guys that have come on portal visits. So I think that's a positive thing, and I think that they have they're going to continue to ramp that up and take even more control of that entire situation. As I mean, the NIL stuff and the collective stuff, I don't know exactly what that's going to look like for college football moving forward, but I know that OU wants to control as much of it as they possibly can and be as involved as they can, and kind of push the boundaries on all that stuff now. So I think that's a positive thing.
Well, I mean, everyone's like moved towards the NIL model and throwing money at the problem, and there's a lot to be said about that right now. And Oklahoma and Brent Venables, he's been adamant about continuing to add value in a bunch of different areas. And, you know, they may be ahead of the game whenever all of this and all the final rules and everything sort itself out. They may be way ahead of the game with what they're doing with the Soul Mission stuff.
Harrington to Washington. We knew a lot of schools were going to be interested in a guy with his size and athleticism.
Yeah.
You know what my initial reaction was when I saw that he was headed to Washington?
What's that?
I was like, I bet Jed Fish saw him on tape early in OU season as he prepared for the Alamo Bowl and was like, that guy's big and athletic.
Yeah. Probably so. Yeah, that's a good point.
For bowl prep, you go back and you watch every single game from the season, and he probably went,
Sure.
who the hell is this number 4 guy?
Yeah. I'm happy for him, and I don't know where they're going to play him. He can play safety, he can play backer, he can play nickel, he can play corner. He's played all of it. So I don't know where they're going to put him, but I love his attitude. I love the way he practices. I love the energy he brings, and I obviously love his build and his physical traits. I mean, if he could put together a full season, stay healthy, his measurables are incredible.
Yeah, I'm hoping he goes there and balls out. I think that'd make a lot of OU fans happy. One other thing I wanted to hit. We recorded our last episode before it was announced that Austin Stogner had signed with the Atlanta Falcons as an undrafted free agent. I'm fired up for him. I'm so fired up, in fact, that I did a little deep dive on the Atlanta Falcons tight end depth chart. He's got a chance. He's got a chance. He looked as healthy as I've ever seen. He looked as good as I've ever seen him look at OU's pro day.
And let's face it, he was playing out of position, right? Playing fullback basically the entire season. He's more of a traditional style tight end, and I think he's got a chance in Atlanta. I mean, I thought he looked good, ran well pro day, athletic. He's a big target. It wouldn't shock me at all if he made the team.
I think it'll all come down to him being able to do the dirty work stuff, which he showed, a lot of time throughout the season, showed the ability to do. I don't think he's ever going to be a big time threat as a pass catcher. I think it's going to come down to blocking for him. Like, can he be an inline, true, like old school Y tight end? I looked it up. They have Kyle Pitts, who is essentially just a jumbo wide receiver, right? The next 2 guys on their depth chart, Charlie Warner and John Fitzpatrick. John Fitzpatrick had 1 catch last year, and Charlie Warner had 3. So I think it's going to come down to whether he can block or not.
And I don't know, they didn't draft any other tight ends, did they?
I didn't see one.
Most teams carry three tight ends, don't they? At least
3 or 4.
Yeah.
I think at the very least, like, I think he's got a good chance of making their practice squad.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is not a bad gig. So
no.
I think we're all cheering hard for Stog, man. I was pretty fired up when I saw that.
Yeah, it looks like a really good situation for him.
Let's get to call your shot. Asked you guys the most important thing that happened for OU football this week. And this is the best one we got. It comes from Sooner, Virginia. who says Brent and his staff have gotten the roster to the point where we are losing good OU caliber athletes like Justin Harrington to the portal simply because they do not have the opportunity to see the field. That is a sign that we are approaching SEC level depth. He ends it with Boomer. Thanks, Sooner Virginia.
I think that we've got, we got running back depth. I mean, I know we've got some unproven guys there, but we've got multiple guys that, from what I've seen to this point, if they were to take over as the featured back, I would be like, I think we're in a pretty good spot. All right. I don't think we're going to be best in the conference by any means, but I think we're in a pretty good spot. But like wide receiver, deep, backer, safety, corner, like we're pretty deep at a lot of spots, and there's some good healthy depth. There's some other play like the interior defensive line. You can't look at our situation and say we're deep, but we're improving. We're getting better at that spot, and still have an opportunity with the transfer portal to really fill it out and look good there. It's kind of the same thing on the offensive line. Like right now, it doesn't appear to be super deep, but we've got good young talent that's starting to make its way in, that starting to feel better about. So I agree with that to some degree on a lot of position groups.
I've put together a string of good recruiting classes, and year 3 is typically where you got to start seeing some of those guys really emerge, right? These were really highly recruited guys. A lot of them have really good measurables for their position, and let's hope that they've made the improvement that you're looking for, because we're all entering a whole new world this fall.
I know. Just think though. Think how different we would feel about our offense right now if Caden Green hadn't left. Like I know it's one player, but it's like one of the best players at our most needed position, It's like I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is it shows kind of how close we are. We are like one or two big time players in the right positions away from all of a sudden being a really, really dangerous football team.
It would certainly help if Damonic Williams shows up.
Yeah.
It would help a lot. All right, let's talk about how incredible the Oklahoma City Thunder are, people. But first, Love's Travel Stop is now offering a nationwide 10-cent per gallon discount on gas and auto diesel. Just download the Love's Connect app and scan your barcode at the prompt on screen and watch that price drop 10 cents per gallon. Across the country, the Love's Connect app unlocks exclusive deals that can help any traveler plan their route or meal on the highway. So before you hit the road, be sure to download the Love's Connect app to save 10 cents per gallon and experience the country's best highway hospitality at Love's Travel Stops. Love's also has you covered if you forget your phone charger or headphones with their expanded mobile to go zone. And of course, don't forget to grab yourself some of that delicious Java Hamore.
And celebrate with a Schooner All-American Ale, the official craft beer of OU Athletics from Coop Ale Works. Named after the iconic Sooner schooner that races across Owen Field after an OU score, you can join in on the celebration with an ice cold beer from Coop Ale Works. You can enjoy it at the Palace on the Prairie, at OU athletic events, at the bar, at the tailgate, and in the comfort of your own home. For more information on Schooner All-American Ale, visit schoonerale.com. Must be 21 to purchase. Please drink responsibly. Schooner All-American Ale, the taste of game day.
And we love Simple Modern. Simple Modern is an Oklahoma-owned drinkware company who has so many gifts that are just perfect for Mother's Day, teacher appreciation gifts, or graduation gifts. You're going to have to give all of those this month, people. Come on. From all their popular drinkware. By the way, Ted, did you know that Simple Modern, #1 sales leader at both Target and Amazon? Do you know that?
Oh, dude, now.
Yeah. How about that? Big deal.
Impressive.
They also have the getaway bags and Harper totes that are perfect for summer trips. Simple Modern has you covered for gift giving this busy time of year. And even better, Simple Modern exists to give generously, donating 10% of all profits so you can know you're helping better Oklahoma and beyond with every purchase. Check them out at simplemodern.com today. Get the brooms, Lehman. It's sweet.
Impressive.
Even though the Pelicans were wearing those horrendous jerseys, it did feel like there was some momentum for them early in the fourth quarter. It felt like, hey, they may steal this one, show some pride, force a game 5. But Josh Giddey was having none of it, Ted. 1 3, 2 3, 3 threes. And then Jalen Williams hit some massive shots late. And I'm glad he did, because that outfit he wore to the game, you better hit good shots if you're going to wear that, man. And to his credit, he did. Ted, the Oklahoma City Thunder are the youngest team to win a playoff series in NBA history.
Crazy.
And they did it in impressive fashion.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't have to see the horrendous jerseys the Pelicans wore, because I couldn't watch the game, you know.
Oh no.
Just like everyone else.
Blacked out. Okay. How does that happen? How does the NBA allow that to happen?
Because they don't give a damn about the consumer. They don't give a damn about the people that watch the game. All we are is a bunch of damn cattle to them that they extract money from. They do not give a damn about the people that are there to watch. They don't care. I paid for that game twice. Paid for it with NBA TV, paid for it with Bally's, and I still didn't get to see it. And they don't give a damn, and they never will. It's just a wake-up call to everyone. They don't care about you. They only care about your money. Pisses me off so much.
I fortunately still roll with the Cox cable because my wife refuses to learn new channels. So was able to watch the local broadcast, but it just I don't know how that's possible in the year of our Lord 2024. Like, you should be able to watch the playoff game in the local market. I mean, what are we doing?
No, they don't care.
It shouldn't be that difficult. It's
not.
crazy.
It's not difficult at all. It's the easiest thing in the world. Oh, it's a playoff game. You know, there's probably a little switch in the corner. They just flip the switch down and, oh, look, everyone's not blacked out now. Obviously, it's the easiest thing in the world to do. It's the right thing to do. But again, they do not give a damn about what anyone thinks. They just care about your money. That's it. It's plain and simple. No reason
You want me to tell you about
think
the game?
about it anymore. Yes, please do.
SGA was pretty average for him. I would say he played below his standard.
That's a couple of times in the series, and the rest of the team's been able to pick it up.
Well, the new development. His wife just had a baby. Maybe a bit of a distraction there. You know, and congratulations. Went with Ares. Strong name. Strong name. God of War. Nice.
Yeah.
Son of Zeus. That when I saw that, I started flipping back to the Greek mythology I learned in Mrs. Pake's AP English class my junior year of high school. It was just all coming back.
Humanities. Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I was feeling cultured as it was coming back to me. But he was okay. Didn't shoot it particularly well. Rolled his ankle. He stepped on, I think it was Cason Wallace's foot, like stepped backwards on the sideline, and Cason Wallace is just sitting on the bench and just rolls his ankle on his foot. So he was dealing with that. But I think it says a lot about this team that even when their star's not at his best, they can still find a way to win, man. I mean, this is not a This is not just a one-man show for this basketball team. Jalen Williams, this is his first playoff series. When you consider that, he was great. Now, Chet Holmgren, he did not shoot the ball particularly well during the series, but he was incredible protecting the rim. I mean, he changed how the Pelicans had to play offensively. It was his first playoff series. I mean, it's really, really impressive. I'm I don't even know where my expectations are at now, man. I really don't. I'm trying not to get too carried away.
I know. I you go through the whole, the sweep, which is fantastic, low stress, but you start to go through the whole, is it going to be bad for a young team to be away from the court competitively for that long, watching everything? I don't think, you could ever quantify it. Doesn't matter, does it not? But it's probably pretty good for those guys to get out of there fairly stress free.
I think, especially with Shea rolling his ankle the way that he did in game 4, I love that they were able to finish the job right there. And that way he's going to be as close to 100% as you can be this late in the season whenever they play the Mavs or the Clippers. But
which that one could drag on for a bit, huh?
It's definitely going 6. So we'll see. It doesn't sound like Kawhi is getting any better anytime soon, which kind of feels like the Clippers are playing better without him anyways. So I don't who do you want? Mavs or Clippers?
Clippers.
Is it the Westbrook factor, the Westbrook and Paul George factor, or do you think that the Mavs are better? You think we got a better chance of beating the Clippers?
I think there's a little bit of like the star power, kind of the challenge of it. And I think that and you have some of this with the Clippers too, but with the Mavs, Luka gets going. I mean, he'd come out and put 50 on you in a game 7 or something, throwing up threes from half court. Like feel like with him, there's to some degree, it doesn't really matter what you do. I don't know. I guess I would defer to you as to what matchup you think is better.
I think I would rather them play Dallas, and it's pretty simple. If they play Dallas, then we don't have any of the 9:30 p.m. tip-offs.
Yeah, that's good. I'll take that.
So that's just me. I'm just looking out for all of our sleep schedule here.
Yeah.
But this is how I see it. I think beating the Clippers with Paul George and Harden and Westbrook, it would feel bigger. But Luka and Kyrie are a hell of a 1-2 punch right now. And I think Dallas is the better team. I'm expecting them to play Dallas.
How's Dort done on Luka?
Luka in the past has called Lou Dort the best defender in the league. So a guy just doesn't say that without being very annoyed by the guy. You know what I mean? And Kyrie is a trickier matchup.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Shea on Kyrie, Jalen Williams on Kyrie, Dort on Kyrie. You put Jalen Williams on Luka.
Yeah.
Case and Wallace, maybe a big series for Case and Wallace to come in and guard Kyrie. I don't know, but those two guys can absolutely score the basketball.
Yeah.
From an aesthetic standpoint, I would love to watch Clippers Thunder.
Yeah.
Because Luka's incredible, but that style of basketball, it just gets a little boring, man.
And it's like the Clippers thing, like if you beat them, it feels like an official, like passing of the torch type of deal, doesn't it?
Yeah. We have all of your draft picks and we just beat you.
Right. Yeah.
I do think my biggest takeaway from the Pelicans sweep, and I know they didn't have Zion. That's going to continue to get brought up. Whatever. The Thunder defense was awesome all series. I mean, even in game 4, did not shoot the ball well at all. Now, the Pelicans shot the ball terribly essentially the entire series. But I'm going to go ahead and give the Thunder the majority of the credit for that because, I mean, of course I am. The Pelicans scored 92 points or less 3 times in the regular season. And the Thunder held them to 92 or less in every game in the series. Brandon Ingram just looked like he wanted to go home.
Oh my God. Off season could not get here soon enough
Oh,
for him.
I would say I have never, the torture chamber is real, and I've never seen someone look more miserable in it.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's one thing to catch him in a regular season game, but in a playoff series, like it's like it's 10 times worse. Like to think about it nonstop. Like there is no like moving on to the next team and God, at least we don't play them again for, 3 or 4 weeks. No, it's just constantly in it. Yeah, you could tell he was done.
You combine Dort's physicality of what he was doing with what Chet was doing to protect the rim. Of just some really good defense, man. And some really, really bad shooting from the Pelicans, but mainly good defense, right? That's how we got to view it. But I'm interested to see where this thing goes. You start Denver doesn't feel invincible. They're still really, really good. If I had to pick a team, I'd pick them. But no one's playing better than Minnesota right now.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards looks like the best player on the planet currently. This Western Conference playoffs, this is gonna be so much fun to watch. And it feels so good to have the squad back in the mix.
It does. It does. It's fun. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I feel pretty good about the matchup, no matter who it is, Dallas or the Clippers. I mean, there's no guarantee at all. I mean, it's not that hard to see a case for them losing to both of those. I mean, that could definitely happen, but that 1 seed was a big deal. The draw ended up being pretty good.
Especially, it is not easy to come into Paycom Center and win right now.
Oh no.
Places.
Who's the better? Dallas is better atmosphere for sure, right?
Yeah, the Clippers. I am a noted, what is it, crypto.com. The vibes are just not great. Now, I'm sure it gets going. It's the playoffs. I'm
Probably
sure
better
it
in the
gets going.
playoff.
But
When we were out there for the Rose Bowl in, what's that, 2017, I paid a bunch of money to take the wife and kid to a Lakers game. It was terrible. I mean, it was cool to go to a Lakers game, but it was like being it felt like a preseason game or something. It was weird.
our atmosphere is much better.
Much better.
Much better. All right, let's finish up with our winners and losers of the week. But first,
all you grill masters, listen up. Didier Ranch delivers premium quality beef that is 100% raised in Oklahoma right to your front door. Go to didierranch.com, DIDIER ranch.com to order one of their premium quality beef boxes and use promo code Oklahoma15 for 15% off your order. Filet, ribeye, New York strip, sirloin, steak burgers. They've got it all and they ship anywhere in the continental U.S. and Oklahomans can get deliveries in just 1 to 2 days. The only thing better than having a lot of premium beef on the O&D line is having premium beef delivered right to your front door. Didier Ranch, tradition tastes better.
And head to the garage for hand smashed patties, butter toasted buns, and some ice cold beer. It's the perfect spot to watch any big game. And with all garage locations being open to 10 p.m. or later every night, it's the go to late night spot. Visit eatatthegarage.com to find a location near you and order online from the garage in your neighborhood. As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
OU women's hoops, they got Beers. Yeah, big time. Raegan Beers, #1 portal player out there, Oregon State, all Pac-12. What they went to the Elite Eight against South Carolina. 6'4"?
6'4".
6'4", really good player, scores, defends well, big time get for the Sooners for sure.
Jenny Baranchek
On it.
went head to head against Gino Ariema and UConn for Raegan Beers. Those were finalists coming out of the portal, OU and UConn. And she chose Oklahoma. That's a big deal, man.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as Porter Moser is struggling to land guys, Jenny Baranchek, this is a massive, massive deal for them. And Raegan Beers is like she can get buckets, man. She was a third-team All-American.
Yeah.
Couple fun facts about Raegan Beers, Ted.
Okay.
Did you know? Same high school as Gavin Sawchuk.
I did know that. You told me right before the show started.
Okay. Fair enough. This is something you did not know. I did not tell you this. Brother. She's got a brother. Plays tight end at Florida International. Rowdy Beers.
Man, I like that.
Guy's name is Rowdy Beers. I don't know Raegan Beers. I don't know her parents. Never met him. Never seen one thing about him. Tell you right now, those people are awesome. Those are people I want to hang out with.
That's good. Well, hey man, I'm excited about it. Premier player, fill in around her, and the inaugural SEC season for Oklahoma women's hoops is going to be a really competitive one.
When you think about it, what? Skylar Van's back. Verhulst is back. Sahara Williams, I think, can be an absolute star. So you combine Beers with I think they're going to be really dang good, man. Now it'll be interesting to see what life in the SEC is like for them. But back-to-back regular season titles in the Big 12.
Yeah.
I don't know if all of a sudden they're going to be South Carolina, but Jenny Baranchek has that thing headed in the right direction.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to be more. It's going to be really competitive, but I think it's a good thing for them, man. If you can go have success in that conference, be really competitive with the top teams, it's going to help them in recruiting. I mean, it's just high tide raises all ships. So I feel like that's going on with all the different programs right now in the athletic department.
It was a much needed portal win for Oklahoma basketball.
Yeah.
With
it was.
With the men going 0 for 3 on the local guys.
Oh gosh.
I just want to give Porter a hug.
I know.
Who do you have as your loser of the week? Don't make it Porter. But do something else.
Shedeur Sanders.
Ooh.
Now, Xavier Smith on the team was told maybe to transfer, hung around through spring practice, just wasn't getting any attention. Finally hit the portal, but I guess he was given an interview and said that he wasn't given much of a chance, didn't really get to know the head coach at all. And Shedeur Sanders had to chime in and say, must not have been any good. Don't even remember him. Thought that was like, they're kind of in need of some good press. And I feel like it's just been bad, 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 bad for Colorado right now. And Shedeur Sanders just kind of dumping some gas on the fire right now with not a very good social media post.
So if you haven't seen it, The Athletic wrote a story about all of the guys that left Colorado when Dion came in and kind of purged the roster. And yeah, Xavier Smith basically said Deion Sanders had no interest in getting to know me. And it just wasn't a great experience. And Shedeur Sanders quote tweeted that and said, I don't even remember him, to be honest. Bro had to be very mid at best. This is the question I have for you, Ted. What good did Shedeur Sanders think was going to come from that tweet?
I guess if I am to play devil's advocate here, he saw that as a shot at his dad, and he felt compelled to come in and defend and say, clearly you just weren't any good. Now, what good comes of that? None. So I don't know. I can't answer that. Like I've got no answer for you there. Clearly not. There's no good that comes from it at all. It makes it continue to look like there's a bunch of individuals walking around campus there at Colorado looking out for number one.
I haven't looked at their win-loss total, like their over-under. That's the leader of your football team. Give me the under.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of people discussing this, a lot of people chiming in. And when I saw that, it just bummed me out, man. Because college football is supposed to be about like getting to know your guys and like developing relationships in their locker room. And no one influences a team more than the starting quarterback. Like no one sets the culture more. And that's as bad of an attitude as you can have.
I'll be interested to see if that's brought up, like Spencer Rattler's high school situation was brought up.
That will be very interesting.
My guess is it won't be.
I don't want to overreact to one tweet, but it made me think about him differently. You think just because this guy maybe wasn't that good that like he's so beneath you, you don't need to know his name, like who he is? It's just a complete opposite of how I've always approached sports. It's like, and this is true. Every year before the spring game, I am always worried that I will run into a guy that I played with and I can't remember his name. Every year. So the week leading up to the spring game, I study every single roster of my time at OU. I look at all the guys' faces. I look at the net, like I study it. And because it means like, I don't want to be the guy that you run into someone you spent 3 or 4 years with and you can't remember their name. There's nothing more disrespectful, especially when you spent hours and hours and hours with them. And so it just, that tweet really bothered me.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm getting old, maybe, but it was just like, God, man, this guy, he's so talented, and that's just that's the exact opposite of what I'm looking for in my quarterback.
100%. There's no doubt. And listen, I'm not naive to think that there's not guys that think that on every roster in the country. That if someone were to, hit the portal, go somewhere else, and like that same situation could play out. Now, I don't believe that everyone is going to post it, but here's the thing. Because last year, whenever things went bad for Colorado, and all the attention that was being poured in, they started getting some hate, right? And there was pushback on that. I don't want to hear anyone from Colorado crying like a little bitch whenever they play bad and they're not winning and everyone starts to kind of pile on. Like it's stuff like that post right there is exactly kind of what everyone's been pointing at, So just understand that if you go out there and you don't play well and people point it out, like you don't have any ground to stand on anymore. It's gone, which I don't know that you did previously. You had a little bit, but now you really don't have any at all. So just as long as that's understood, I'm fine with it.
I think that's fair. I also, just one more thing. I am under the impression that Shedeur Sanders wants to be like the first pick of the draft. That ain't helping.
No,
that's not helping.
He's pretty good, but it's just...
He's pretty good, but like if it's close between you and another guy, people are still looking for leaders of men in their locker room, for guys that bring everyone together. Like that still matters.
Mm-hmm.
And there will be a discussion. Hey, are we taking Carson Beck or are we taking Shedeur Sanders? And that tweet's going to come up like, I don't know, man. Like, what good comes from it? Why do it?
Well,
maybe I'm overreacting, but that tweet bummed me out so much.
It's just I don't know. But there comes to a point whenever you reach a certain level, everyone knows you're good. Like you don't have to prove anymore how good of a player you are. You get to a point where you begin to be judged on, do you make the people around you better? Right? And the guys that it's an overwhelming yes, that's not the typical behavior you see from those type of players. That's it.
I think that's a fair way of putting it. Man,
he's still a damn good player, though. I mean,
still good. Yeah, I'm not saying he's not good, and
right.
I want Colorado to be good. I think Deion's great for college football. I also think the way that he's gone about recruiting and the portal stuff, it's a disaster.
Horrible.
It's a disaster.
Yes. Disaster.
And the way that Deion Sanders has treated some of those players, I think is reflected in the way his son has treated some of those players.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's great for the culture of your program.
No. Yeah. Let's see. I could go to Colorado or I could go to other school. There's a chance that I get sent out of there and get mocked on the way out by the coach and the coach's son. I think I'll go somewhere else.
Dylan Edwards just left.
Right.
Emaw. Yeah, I feel like the vibes surrounding Colorado, like, and how people view that, like, it feels like a shift is taking place to me.
Oh, yeah.
Where bunch of people that cover college football were really, really excited for that entire thing, rooting for them, and just the way some of this stuff has gone down, they're kind of starting to assume like a villain role in a weird way in my mind. I don't know. It's strange.
I thought Dion was going to be able to go in, capitalize on, like, I like a lot of the things that he does and a lot of things that he says, but I there's a lot of do as I say, not as I do going on here. Like, he preaches a lot of the right things, but then like turn around and you mock players and you don't give them any respect. You don't give them an opportunity to earn any respect. I it yeah, I don't know. People have a low tolerance for that, especially whenever you don't win very much.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. 2024 is gonna be an interesting season.
He's done after this. Done.
Shedeur to the NFL. Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder if Colorado fans won't mind.
They could have a harsh reaction in their own stadium if they don't win some games this year.
Yeah.
Because like, here's the thing, like, not to spend a ton of time on this, but if they don't win games, like, everyone that was involved in the decision to bring him in, it almost looks like they're just kind of mocking the whole thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's about them and not about the university.
Yeah.
And the fans and everyone that loves that place.
Just using it as a vessel to, create some notoriety, get to the NFL, all of that stuff.
Check it all out on YouTube. But watch this first, then go check that out. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. That was a long time on Dion in Colorado, and that was a lot of Colorado content, but it is what it is. Let's get to my winner and loser. But first, attention business owners, you need Insurica in your life. Insurica is one of the country's largest insurance brokers with 30 offices throughout Oklahoma, Texas, and the Southwest. Insurica is able to customize programs by accessing the latest information from many insurance carriers. They compare and contrast coverage offerings and pricing in order on a cost-effective, comprehensive program to meet your business's specific needs. If your business partners with Insurica, you'll save huge amounts of money and take back control of your total cost of risk. If your business wants to be best in class, connect with Insurica at insurica.com. That's INSURICA.com.
And head to opolisclothing.com for our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's OPOLIS clothing.com. Use promo code TED, TED, for 10% off. That's opolisclothing.com. Use promo code TED for 10% off. Buttery soft and 10% off.
Ted, a lot of people loading up on OKC gear.
I like that.
Using the
good.
promo code. Works in store, people. Promo code TED. For my win of the week, thought about going with Travis Kelce. Guy's life is good. Living right. Won a bunch of Super Bowls now. #1 sports podcast. Dating arguably the most famous woman in the world. And now a 2-year contract extension that will make him the highest paid tight end in the National Football League. As he should be.
Honorary degree from Cincinnati as well.
Yeah. I mean, what else could you ask for? This guy,
when it rains, it pours.
I mean, this guy is having himself a year. Some people may think that they're giving him too much money, but he is one of those guys that, man, he shows up when they need him the most. Mm-hmm. And he looked good in the playoffs. He looked healthier. Like, he looked, I think they believe he's still got some tread left on the old tires.
Yeah. Now, I do feel like this is a bit of, we're paying you for what you've done, not necessarily what you're going to do. I mean, he's 34 years old. He's coming off of a season where he was a little banged up, production was down, but he's still got plenty of gas in the tank. And this is also a reminder. The NFL is a business. It is about making money. It is not about winning games. It's about making money. Now, usually those two are intermixed, but not always. All right? Not always. Travis Kelce is a huge draw, right? And to have a player like that on your roster is incredibly valuable. The production isn't as valuable right now as his popularity. As crazy as that sounds, So I don't know. It's I guess I was pretty. Is this the first time he's been the highest paid tight end in the league? I was pretty shocked by that.
Darren Waller was making more money than him.
Yeah.
That seems wrong. So was Hawkinson. It's like, yeah, Kelce should. I don't care how old he is. Man should be the highest paid in the league. Him and Kittle. Congrats,
Timing
Travis
is
Kelce.
critical, but yeah, what's it? 30, 34? Is that what it ends up being total? 34 million a year? Something this big.
He'll be yeah, I think he's gonna. I don't think that I didn't see the number yet. I think it'll be like 18 mil a year, something like that.
Yeah,
36 total.
I said 30. I think it was it 36? I think it went from like 30 over 2 to maybe 34, 36 over 2, something like that.
Yeah, he's rich. He's doing great.
Yep.
Congrats. Awesome guy. Awesome guy. But my win of the week, I'm giving it to Jamal Murray. I love when a training staff and maybe a front office say, hey, man, just sit this one out. Let's see if we can get it done without you. And he says, no, I think I'll play. Plays through the calf and ends up hitting another game winner and sending LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the rest of the Lakers home. Calf looked fine when he posterized LeBron.
Yeah.
Calf looked good. He was great. I mean, what a performance from, yeah, we'll see if I can give it a go to, oh, he hit his second game winner of the series, and that's a wrap.
Yep.
That was impressive
nice.
from Jamal Murray, man.
It was. He was, I was watching that clock. It's like they're not going to call timeout. And he was waiting and waiting and waiting up there. And there he goes down, hits the shot in the lane. Pretty nice, smooth looking play. No panic. That was pretty impressive. And it was a gutsy effort from the Lakers they won that game 4. Looked like they were going to try and steal that one as well, but that was pretty cool.
Maybe if Anthony Davis's arm would have worked the entire game, they would have won. How weird. What was that? It's always something.
Always something. It's every single game. He takes some type of injury. It's the end of the damn world. It's catastrophic. There's no way they're going to be able to get him off the court. Please call the stretcher. We need an ambulance out here. And then he goes to the bench. He sits around, grabs a Gatorade. He goes back in the game. It is ridiculous. It happens nonstop with that guy.
I did feel bad for him. It looked like he was in a lot of pain. He looked like he was in a lot of pain. It looked like a harmless bump, but it's like a stinger. I don't know. That was strange. I was a little confused by the Lakers defense late. Maybe make someone other than Jamal Murray beat you. It seemed like awfully easy for him to get to his spot there. That pretty simple pick and roll concept. I don't know. Maybe make Contavious Caldwell-Pope hit a shot. Michael Porter Jr. I don't know. Anyone but Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
Hell, make Jokic shoot it. I don't know. Just I'm not a basketball expert. It seemed like a little more help could have been given to Austin Reeves in that situation.
Right. Well, hey, yeah. I mean, I guess maybe that's the reason they didn't want to take a timeout right there. Didn't give him a chance to sit there and talk about it a little bit. But I mean, it seems fairly straightforward.
Now LeBron watch begins. How excited are you for it, Ted? Will he opt in or will he hit free agency? That storyline is going to be it is going to consume the NBA offseason.
Who do you think is going to come up just short of a championship this year?
He's not coming to Oklahoma City.
No.
And my answer, I can't imagine he ends up in Boston. I can't imagine Denver doesn't want him.
No. I don't know what's going to happen.
Dallas maybe makes the most sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they've got the assets because they're kind of all in on their current team.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of interesting. Like, 1-year deal from here on out, right? Probably.
Oh, no. I think he's going to ask for 3 years.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Or something. I mean, it's LeBron James. He's going to, it's
Yeah.
not going to be a light ask.
Right. Yeah. I don't know what the plan is. It's just, how long do you want to play?
Good question.
Because there has to come a point where, like, there's not really anything left to prove for him. But I mean, if he still enjoys it and loves it, then whatever. I mean, play forever. It's incredible the shape he's in at 39 years old. As big as he is, it's just incredible. The amount of work you have to put in, like, it grows exponentially with every year you get older, you know?
First round exit. I'm sure it'll be. I'm sure it won't be dramatic at all for the Lakers,
right.
for LeBron. Just get ready, people. It's gonna lead every show for the entire summer. Just prepare yourself. All right, my loser of the week. I thought about going with Minnesota Timberwolves head coach Chris Finch. My God. Your team sweeps the Suns, but it comes at a huge price to him personally. Have you ever seen that in a basketball game? Blows out his patellar tendon on the sideline?
No.
And it's not like Mike Conley hit him very hard.
And I don't know. What do you do? Like, that's a big, like, how do you coach with that?
He's having surgery this week. First of all, I can only imagine how pissed he is about this entire thing. It's like your team's playing incredible. You're closing out a sweep in game 4 and you blow your knee out. And patellar tendon, that's a painful one. Like, that's a
yeah. Yeah.
The tensile strength of that bad boy. Ouch.
It's like an explosion going off in your knee. He has to coach in a wheelchair.
He's gonna be in a brace, dude. He can't. I don't think he's gonna be able to be on the sideline.
No, they have to give him a parking spot for a wheelchair where the chair would go. And he backs in.
But he's going to be immobilized in that brace, and his leg is going to be straight. He's not going to be able to get out of the way if there's a loose ball that comes right at him.
He's got to have an attendant with the wheelchair.
Could you imagine the staffer that draws that aside?
Yeah, runs him out. Out to do the interview before the quarter, and then wheels him back over to the team. Yeah.
The only thing I could think of is putting him on the second row of the bench.
Or back, where players sit down, like, and stretch and stuff, kind of almost back into the tunnel.
Yeah, tucked into the corner.
Have him in the tunnel
I mean,
in the wheelchair.
he's going to be there, but he's not going to be able to coach how he normally coaches. It's just,
No.
it's going to be too much of a risk for him. Like, he can't be standing up on crutches on the sideline in case, I guess maybe he can.
No way.
I, I don't know how crazy he is, but if he gets bumped and he is going down, like, oh my gosh. The league
Yeah.
doesn't want that visual.
No.
Him getting bumped, Carl, and it would be Carl Anthony Towns for sure. It's always Carl Anthony Towns. This is
Oh
some of the
yeah.
strangest stuff. He would accidentally just steamroll Chris Finch on crutches, and it'd be played for decades.
I guarantee wheelchair in the corner.
That's your official prediction.
That's my prediction.
I'm going second row of the bench, so that
You
there's like
you can't get out of the second row though.
they can move some stuff around. Come on, he's a
Yeah,
head
I guess
coach.
that's true.
I feel
Yeah.
bad for him, man. Like, they look like a legitimate title contender. They look like they could go win the title, and you blow your patellar tendon out. It's crazy.
Can you imagine, like, you're standing there and it's like, and pause. Give me a list of 10 million things that could happen next. And it's like, at no point would that come up, you know?
all, all I could think about when it happened, I was on my official visit to Notre Dame. They were playing Michigan, and Notre Dame wanted me to play defensive line. They wanted me to play DN. And my host was a guy named Jack Ryan, defensive lineman. Jack Ryan is running down the field covering a punt. A guy from Michigan pushes him, and he falls straight into Charlie Weiss's leg and blows every ligament out in Charlie Weiss's knee
Oh my God.
during the game. That was my host for my official visit, and I was with him after that with his family. It was one of those. It was, dude, every channel we turned on at his apartment was showing it. And like, you couldn't escape it. And it was, I was like, dude, that's you. It was,
Oh my
they
God.
were, we were all like, they were all mortified, but also like laughing. Like, they didn't know how to respond. And that's, I instantly went back to that when I saw this. I was like, oh my gosh. Because
That's
you just never
crazy.
see this.
No.
Go look the Charlie Weiss one up, people. Just Google, just YouTube Charlie Weiss knee injury. It will be the first thing that pops up. It makes Chris Finch's look like nothing. Dude, it was so bad. It was so bad, Ted.
I've got to see that. I don't think I've ever seen that, or at least I don't remember it.
Oh my gosh. I almost want you to pull it up right now and watch it just to get your live reaction. Do
Okay,
it.
go.
I will wait. It was not a fun time during the game because it was raining the entire football game. And Notre Dame wasn't any good. Michigan wasn't any good really back then either. But this was, it was the only thing anyone was talking about after that football game. He has pulled it up, ladies.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Charlie Weiss injury.
This is terrible podcasting,
Oh,
but
slow motion. Oh, he doesn't see it coming. I don't know if I can watch this. Stay off the white, Charlie. Oh, leg whip. Oh, God.
and Chris
I can
Finch's
see
is
him.
nothing.
He's like trying to like turn in the air to avoid it. Oh my gosh. That's brutal.
Oh, that was awful, people, but I had to see Ted's reaction to that. It was so bad. Loser of the week, Boston Celtics. Now, up 3-1 on the Heat. Smacked them around in game 4. Series is going to be over. No doubt about it in my mind. However, Porzingis is hurt again. He goes down with a non-contact right calf injury. Am I right? Now, it doesn't sound like they're concerned about his Achilles. But, Ted, what's even more interesting to me is he hurts his right calf. And as I'm watching it, he's got his left calf like K-taped all up.
Hmm.
So he's going to be out for a while. Like, he clearly was already dealing with something with one calf. Now he's definitely going to miss a lot of games with this right calf. And I mean, it's got to concern the Celtics because they are the best version of themselves when he's on the court, with how he spaces the floor for Tatum and Brown and Derek White, and what he does as a rim protector. Like, the best version of the Boston Celtics, Kristaps Porzingis, is on the floor. And I don't know. They were great in the regular season without him. They were 21-4 without him. So it's not like they struggled mightily without him or anything. But when you're trying to get over that title hump, if you're Boston, you want to have all your bullets, man. And who knows when he'll be back.
Yeah, and we just talked about this recently. Big guy, long guy like that's got a calf injury, and you start to worry about pushing it a little bit, go out there and snap the Achilles or something. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely not what they wanted. They almost lost. I think it was Tatum. Did you see that on that? It was like a dead ball, and he shot the three and rolled his ankle on the big guy's foot. It's
Well, it wasn't even that. What, early in the series, I'm trying to remember who got pushed in the back and like undercut him. He was up in the air and just like completely undercut him. I think it was because he got nudged, but it looked like it could have been bad. So the NBA playoffs are starting to feel like, hey, who can stay healthy long enough?
right, right. The war of attrition.
Thank God the Thunder have all these young, spry lads. Let's go. Birthday shout outs. Happy 6th birthday to Eli Cochran.
Happy 7th birthday to Stella.
Just Stella. Like Beyonce or Adele. No last name needed. Happy
Or
birthday,
Madonna.
Stella. Madonna, yeah. Happy 34th birthday. I don't know why it came out that way. Happy 34th birthday. What was that? Happy 34th birthday to Justadado. Just gave the username. There you go, Justadado. Happy birthday, man. On that note, episode 418 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Sunday. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. Have an awesome weekend. Until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.